Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Living Joyfully show. This is Sheri, Kaye, Hoff, and I would love for you to stop by the website, SheriKayeHoff.com, for some free gifts and information. I have a fantastic guest here today. I can't wait to tell you about her. Jaime Rowe is your non-conforming sales strategist teaching women in business how to do sales the feminine way. She loves working with creative thinkers who need a system and structure to make sales feel seamless. Her favorite part of business is showing women that when they stop selling themselves short and put themselves first, results happen. Because confidence stems from inspiration, and you're the best inspiration there is. Whether she's teaching or speaking, Jaime's number one motivation is to empower more women to lead with impact and unlock their feminine sales success. Welcome, Jaime. I'm so excited to have you here. How are you today?
Good, very good. How are you, Sheri?
Oh, I'm great. I've been so looking forward to this conversation because when I work with my clients, I know one of their biggest fears when they start a business, which they usually start because they're super passionate about what they're selling and what they're offering. But when it comes to selling, that's the scary part. A lot of them have never really sold before. They don't like being sold to. They don't like selling. But when you own your business, you have to be really the best salesperson in your company, especially at first. So what do you say to all these women who are so afraid of selling or doing it wrong or sounding too salesy?
That is such a common challenge, and I've been there. I've been where I was selling my services. This is years ago, and I didn't sell. I actually completely rejected it. I thought selling meant that I had to be manipulative, that I had to be slimy and sleazy. I mean, think about like the quintessential salesperson, used car salesman, wearing his plaid wool jacket, a cigar, and a hat, and they're going to sell you a car that's going to break down, a block away and smoke come out of the car. And I was like, oh my gosh, if I am good at sales, if I start to get good at sales, does that mean I'm like that person? And that person to me is not a good person. And so I had something called cognitive dissonance pop up for me. So my beliefs didn't match my actions. So I completely rejected sales. I want nothing to do with this. That's not who I am. If I have a great product or service, people will just come to me, right, Sheri? That's what
right.
I thought. Like, well, they'll know that I'm really good at, and this I was a pet photographer for years, stayed home with the kids, and I did it on the weekends, and I ended up photographing some celebrities and some covers of magazines. And I just thought that, people would just know who I was, who I was, and they would just come to me. And then it ended up being like, you know what, this doesn't work. And I got really frustrated one day. I was looking at my numbers, and I said, this is not where I want to be. And I had this shift. In my mindset is that, you know what, I can figure this out. I believe in myself. I have a great service. I'm understanding what my worth is and my impact to this world. And it was a big mind shift. I hired coaches, a speaking coach, a business coach. I had a sales coach. I also took emotional sales coach training, boot camps, read every book, podcast, like I'm going to figure this out. And through that whole transformation process, actually ended up, I had a business where I started it from scratch, and it was nothing. And I brought it to $1 million in 26 months. Now, I didn't do that myself. I had a team. I had 18 sales reps at the time helping me sell, but sitting in my car, taking some deep breaths, shifting my mindset, understanding my worth, and connecting with who I am, and connecting with my authentic self. Because when you connect with that authentic self, you're never selling. You're just having a conversation. You're just connecting with someone on a deeper level, understanding what they need, and not manipulating, selling what and serving them. Finding out, oh, this is what you need, not this. Oh, absolutely. That's great. Let's move forward with this. I want to make sure this is a good fit for you, because that's how I wanted to sell. I wanted to sell like I was talking with a friend. And that was a big shift, and that was some time to go through that, and I didn't do it alone. But that's a common issue for so many people, where we don't want to be that manipulative person. We want to be who we truly are. And there's that, how do I be who I am, but also sell? And this, selling can be, selling can be somewhat like this dirty word, right? So making that mind shift was a big, big step.
Oh, I love that. I think that's so helpful. Another thing that I think comes up frequently from the years that I've been coaching with people is when, a lot of people who have service businesses, they're doing like a one-on-one type of close, like a conversation. It might be like maybe they're a coach and they're doing a strategy session and they're doing great, and they get all the way to the end, and when they get to the point of talking about their package, their energy drops, their throat gets tight, they, or they don't even give their offer. Like they're having such a great time during the conversation, they forget to even tell people that they're selling something. And so what advice do you have for people to make that smooth transition between, finishing up a strategy session and then making that transition into the part of, this is, if you want to work with me, this is how we can work together type of piece in the conversation?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been there myself where, the throat closes up. I get a lot in my stomach, my solar plexus. That's where a lot of some trauma that existed sat in there. And so my stomach would get tight, clammy hands. You start to basically, I've actually rolled into a full panic attack and not done my offer and closed the meeting out. I don't know if anyone raised their hand where that's happened, like, oh my gosh, they could say no, or oh my gosh, they could say yes. What happened then? And so a couple of thoughts. One is we want to get to the core of what's happening here. So what's happening in your body and being aware. So I think, too, is we want to find what that core belief, like what's happening, what's holding me back from sharing my offer. Is it the fear of rejection? Is it I don't feel like I'm worth it? Is it I'm just not believing in what I'm offering, too? So we want to sit and talk through that and bring some awareness, because sometimes it's something unconscious. And I say, let's get the flashlight out and shine some light on it. Let's move it up to the conscious state so we can work with it at that point. So we want to understand what's going the underlying part, because here's the deal. I could tell you all day long, oh, well, you just need to practice it over and over. But if we don't understand underlying what's happening, in our soul and in our bodies, it's never going to change. We'll just self-sabotage in some form or another. So with that said, once we understand the awareness, the core of what's happening underneath, then we start working on some of the more practical things. Is sometimes we just really do need to practice it. And I say that if we believe it, we need to say it. And the process of believing it is saying it. And I'm all about 25 times of everything. So, and sometimes even saying our price, the word dollars, we get stuck on that. So sometimes say your package is $2,000. Let's use that as an example. So what you do, you would practice, you would actually use different words. For example, you could say, my package, here's my package, and it's 2,000 bananas. And my package is 2,000 monkeys. Once we get comfortable with saying 2,000 with, the other, like some ending to it, then we start moving up to $2,000. And then we start practicing, we speak to a plant. Plants are not going to judge you, I promise. I have a million around my house. My kids joke that we live in a botanical garden. I'm okay with that. So speak to a plant. And then next, maybe if you have a dog or a cat, a dog, if you have a golden retriever, that's ideal, right? They're just, oh my God, there's so much love. And then maybe on a friend, and say, I'm practicing this, and we move up, and then we move to a client. It's just like riding a bike. If you haven't practiced something and you sit down, you can't expect to ride the bike immediately and do a great job. We need to practice it and start there and start small. And the other component is just be compassionate with yourself. compassionate curiosity, love, connecting, slowing things down, and it's okay. The worst thing we want to do is get mad at ourselves. Be like, oh, I just did that sales call and gosh, I didn't say the offer again. Oh, I'm such an idiot. How could I not say that? And what's wrong with me? And I'm broken and I'm not worthy of it. And we can do this spiral. So instead of getting angry, it's just slowing down and maybe doing a 5-minute grounding meditation, just reconnecting and asking, putting your hand on your heart and saying, hey, what do you need? What do you need right now? What's going on? I'm a big inner child therapy person. That's like a whole other rabbit hole we can go down. But I think first and foremost is loving yourself, bringing the awareness, and then practicing. I think those are 3 big components.
I think that's so helpful. I would never have thought of the 2,000 bananas thing, and I love it because sometimes the other thing that can do is when you're actually saying $2,000 and you're seeing 2,000 bananas, you're kind of smiling too, and it's keeping your energy up. So what a fun thing. What I really like about all of this is that the approach is very, understanding kind of on a soul level of what people are going through, but also finding ways to keep it light. I know for my own selling, I was one of those people when I first started my business 14 years ago. I don't think I had my first client until the first 6 months because I was so afraid of rejection. I was so scared to say my offer. I just was, so I was terrible at it. and I think that makes me a really compassionate coach because I know that feeling. But one thing that changed for me, and it's been, over the years is, first of all, overcoming the fear of rejection. That was a big thing. But also approaching each conversation like I asked myself the question once of why can't I be so excited about these discovery sessions or strategy sessions? Why can't I be as excited as I am when I'm coaching people? Why couldn't that be that joyful for me? And so when I made that mindset switch, and I quit thinking forward ahead to the part where people say yes or no. And I was just like in that moment in pure joy, talking to that person that really helped me relax a lot. So, so what else? Like if someone said to you, how can I be better at sales? What would you say?
First I want to comment. I love that part of the reframing of joy, right? Looking at a strategy session as just joy. I sometimes say, why don't we make it more luxurious? Is if you like candles, I light a candle. Like if you like essential oils, I suggest like maybe a citrus blend, some grapefruit, lemon, lime, like just permeate the room with just that really like the senses too. Of course, we're doing that Zoom, so, we're not meeting someone in person, but maybe they would like it too if you're meeting someone in person. That will be coming probably next year. Or I have incense. I burn incense every morning. I actually have a singing bowl. Like just make it comfortable and grounded and just luxurious and joyful for you. I just want to stop. I love that you said that. So the question is how do I become better at sales? Is that what you said, Sheri?
Yeah. Yes. Everyone wants to know.
It starts with you. It starts with getting to know you, getting to know your authentic self. Because I think if we have this understanding of who we truly are, what are my unique strengths? Because if we don't know our unique strengths, we can't communicate that value to the person across from us. If we can't communicate that value, then we're not going to be confidently closing sales. We're not going to be closing sales at all. So I think it starts with clarifying your unique strengths and truly knowing what you're bringing to the table. So, for example, in my sales certification program, we lean into something called human design. Are you familiar with human design?
Yes. Yep, I am.
Oh, we talked about this. Excellent. I absolutely love it. I also use DISC as kind of a combo of it because it's a nice blend. But human design, there's all these different profiles and all these different channels and gates, these natural gifts that were given to you that tie into your purpose. And so we lean really into that. And each person that's in the class I spend time with is, okay, this actually, you're really great with this channel here. Let's talk about storytelling for you. How are you integrating storytelling into your sales process? Another person is really good at identifying patterns. So how can we link that in? So what we want to do is once we know who our authentic self is, then we align our sales process to that. So everyone has there's some fundamentals of sales processes, obviously, that are going to help you get results. But what I like to do is do these small little tweaks, these small little joyful, luxurious tweaks to each person's sales process that ties into what their true purpose is and their authentic self is. And it's really, really beautiful. And they have these aha moments. Like, I don't want to ask that question because I have these bank of these questions for discovery calls. Not that one, but that one resonates with me. Excellent. Let's put that in there. Let's make a custom discovery call that's specific to you. And then you're going to try it out and you're going to come back and see if that works for you. So I think first and foremost is getting to know yourself, your authentic self. And sometimes that may mean, spending time with a coach or a therapist and releasing, breaking down, releasing that no longer serves us, that underlying is self-sabotaging us in sales. I've worked with one particular woman, and she would have all these leads come in, and she would, I put air quotes, forget to follow up with them. So 48% of salespeople don't follow up. If you want to immediately get results with your sales, just follow up. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? So she was not following up with clients because we got down to it is she did not feel worthy of her service, of what she was offering. And so what we'll do is we'll self-sabotage in little ways unconsciously. Oh, I was so busy, I forgot to send the proposal. Oh, I was so busy. Oh, I forgot to price warn. Oh, I was so busy, I didn't reply to that email. Oh, it was a new lead that came in last week. Oh, I can't get a CRM and set it up to manage. I'm just too busy. That's for someone else. So really getting into that, the depth of what's happening inside and maybe going through the process of releasing some trauma, getting to know ourselves so that we can make room. We can make room for all these new connections, for all these new invitations to your best self. And we can't do that until it's kind of like, what is it? I say sometimes when we have a lot of self-sabotage or trauma, every time we walk into a room, we have the big bag of garbage on our back. And we walk into a room with a prospect and we just drop it in the middle and it stinks. The prospect can feel it. They know it. They smell it, right? So the goal is every day, let's take a piece of garbage out, right? I know, pretty gross, huh? So take a piece of garbage out. Let's just, and over time, with love and compassion for ourselves, we're going to remove pieces out of that garbage bag until we walk into the room our true selves, that we can walk in without holding something, without something on my back, without something stinking up a room. And then we have that space that our cup is full and we can connect with that other person sitting across from us, because that's truly why we're here. We're here to serve our purpose. I can't do that if I have garbage on my back. So yeah, that's it.
Well, I love that. Another place that I see, from just working with people is that, whenever you're trying to do something big, like if, you're trying to grow your sales by becoming better at selling, if you're trying to create a course or anything that you kind of decide you're going to level up, there's this point where your body and your ego want to return to what was comfortable. So I see that sabotage that comes forward, and part of that sabotage is just like, ooh, this feels really, stretchy and new for me, and I want to go back to where it was comfortable. So, it's important to make it through that stage too, is recognizing that it's kind of a normal process to have some self-sabotage come up when you're trying to level up. So I love everything that you brought up here. I think it's a really fresh way to look at sales, and it seems like it's a very self-loving, forgiving way to look at sales for people. So if people want to learn more about you, Jaime, how can they find you?
Yeah, great question. So probably the best way, impacttoincomeprogram.com. That's the website where you can see and find more information about our program. And then also we have an online community, Impact to Income under Mighty Networks. And our handle on the Instagram is impact_to_income. But if you just type in Impact to Income, you can pop in there and you can meet me there and see some fun videos. That's probably the best way to connect with us.
Well, I love that. And you've talked about so much here. What do people need to take home with them today? Like, what is the one or two ideas that people just, if they could absorb it from today, would you want them to know?
I think a key component is that when you show up as your authentic self to a sales meeting, is you're never selling. If you show up with who you are, as an energy being, your soul, your purpose, is that you're never selling. You're just connecting with someone else. And sometimes I think we forget that. We get caught up in everything that's going on and all that stuff in our head. And really, it's two souls connecting and seeing if there could be impact and lessons with one or the other. So I think that's an important component that I would, love to leave with everyone today.
Oh, that is just awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jaime, and thank you, everyone. I just wanted to remind you, too, to visit SheriKayhoff.com, SheriKayehOff.com, and we will see you next time. Have a great day. Talk to you soon.